Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. This is Pro Wrestling Logic, of course. This is the May 8th, 1994 edition of Wrestling Challenge. Obviously, 1994, a very unique time for pro wrestling in general and for the transitions as it relates to pro wrestling at that time period. Anyway, we will move forward into this particular time of the wrestling history. We've got various other, obviously, Wrestling Challenge and other wrestling in general audios. We get nearly something like 2,300 of these available for your listening pleasure. My goal is to eventually have as many as we possibly can. So we'll keep going as long as we can. My health may not hold out as long as I'd like for it to, and also my need to move might pervade. But anyway, we move into the 5, 8, 24 edition of things here, and ultimately, if we're looking at that, we're kind of looking at a featuring a special report segment showing highlights from Diesel winning the Intercontinental Championship from Razor Ramon during the 410 or 430 edition of Superstars. So, not that long ago. Earthquake pinning Corey Stewart with a sit-down splash. Relatively quick. Corey Stewart, a regular in the enhancement role at the time. Earthquake managing to get a power slam pretty quickly there, and then the sit-down splash. Earthquake at the time really doesn't have a lot of long-term value, but basically brought back to put over Yokozuna primarily from what I can gather. Virgil comes up next. He's facing off against Barry Horowitz. Barry Horowitz, of course, a regular in the enhancement talent role there. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. Also, the special report with Diesel winning his first singles championship. Diesel winning all three championships for the promotion in a matter of less than 1 year from I don't know. Well, no, it wouldn't be less than 1 year from debut, but less than 1 year from within a year's calendar span. Anyway, Virgil gets nailed with a side suplex from Barry Horowitz. Virgil hits a couple of jabs, hits the dive over the top, and then the run into the $1 Million Dream. Virgil still kind of living off the $1 Million Man thing here in 1994. Highlights including kind of taking the Diesel and Shawn Michaels thing to house shows. Lex Luger and Ludwig Borger still a thing. Doink and Jerry Lawler they're plugging. Mabel and Bigelow. And these are all house shows upcoming. Head Shrinkers just about doing their babyface turn around this time. Pretty impactful, and kind of that goes. There is a WWF basically bringing the fans into kind of their journey. Bret Hart also plugging being the world champion, as it were, and his world championship run, obviously a pretty big deal. Especially second time around. Bam Bam Bigelow out here. Bam Bam not really getting everything he wants out of being a major star, as it were. Although some would say Bigelow isn't the star he thinks he is, so that would make sense. Anyway, hits a couple of headbutts and other basic maneuvers, giving himself an advantage. Luna still at ringside with him for a few more months, although probably by SummerSlam, she's moved on here in 1994. And of course, SummerSlam 94, Undertaker versus Undertaker is a weird run there. Mike Chloe is the opponent for Bigelow here. Heavenly Bodies with Jim Cornette against the Bushwhackers. 8 minutes, 7:59 to be exact. Jimmy Del Rey pinning Butch with a moonsault at the time. Not exactly a barn burner of a match here. And, I mean, it's there. It's a time filler. I don't know that that's what I would put on during the May sweeps edition of things. Also, King of the Ring report. They're hyping the upcoming King of the Ring. Owen Hart, of course, winning the '94 King of the Ring after Brett doing it the previous year, the first year that it was a pay-per-view. Kind of talking about the eight-man tournament as a big deal, and it was at the time. We do get again Dr. Tom alongside the Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch. Bushwhackers kind of filling some time there. They get the kids up and going, and they whack around the ring. Jim Cornette, of course, a tremendous manager, trying to get the TV for the Heavenly Bodies, still running Smoky Mountain Wrestling at the time, and doing so till about November of 1995. Punches in the corner. Tom Pritchard takes the majority of punishment. They do some goofy kids-based comedy with the heels running together, bonking together, and all that. And then again, we go with Jimmy Del Rey hitting the moonsault on one of the Bushwhackers for the victory. Run this match through several commercials. Also, the attempted use of the tennis racket by Jim Cornette and Butch Bushwhacker munching around with that. And then we see Jerry Lawler getting hit in the face with a pie, or actually hitting Dink in the face with a pie. Barry Hardy is the opponent for Doink this time around. Punches, kicks, and basic maneuvers by Doink and Dink. They do some comedy spots. Doink with a couple of takedowns. Of course, Doink still in this era. Phil Apollo. Hardy manages to hit a back suplex, not getting everything he wants out of the process by any stretch of the imagination, but it's there, and it's an interesting run, as it were. Hype for a tuxedo match May 19th at Nassau Coliseum between Harvey Whippleman and Howard Finkel, trying to get fans up and about. I remember 94, 95, not a good time to be a WWF fan, and also Madison Square Garden doing the same run at the time period. We will be back right after this.